We are getting ready to go live once that pops up. I am live. What is going on, YouTube and Weight Loss Warriors? It's your boy C Dub, and I'm back with a live. I appreciate each and every one of you as you begin to pop in. Make sure as you pop in, you smash that like button up there for me. I appreciate it. It lets people know you like me. And more importantly, it lets YouTube know that. So I got a lot to talk about today before we really hop into it. I think I had one question somebody dropped me on YouTube. Wanted to make sure I got that too. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that question real quick. And then I want to hop on over and talk about a study that just came out on December 26th is when it got produced into the medical journal. And it was released on December 25th online. So it's a really interesting, neat kind of thing. But first, the question that I got was asked was, do you feel a lot of hunger when you're cutting weight? Like, do you feel when you're not getting enough food many days in a row? So the question is basically what I get out of it is when I've undereaten one day, do I feel it the next day? And I don't really know if I ever feel that I've undereaten, but I definitely feel when I've overeaten. So generally speaking, if my one meal has too much, I'm able to feel it the very next day. I don't know if I feel it when I undereat. I generally am just used to going through my day-to-day activities. I mean, it's almost 2 years now. So I think that in that process, it's just what it is. And so if I undereat, I don't notice. But I definitely do notice when I overeat. That's when I feel it the most. Hey, Platinum, what's happening? JC, what is going on? Thank you for joining me. Oh, is well. What's going on, Mr. Warhammer? Jammer. Good to see all you guys. So I got an exciting thing today, guys. I got a topic. I got an article, and I'm going to link it. I got the whole article. I haven't seen it anywhere else. I was able to find it online. And so what it is it's a review article of a bunch of different studies that was done on intermittent fasting. And so these two doctors, Dr. Raphael Dahl, I think it's pronounced Kobo, and Mark Matze, both are doctors. Both have worked in a facility that deals with aging. And they took a lot of different research points and they put them together in one article. So it's not a what do you call it? A meta-analysis. Hey, Michelle, it's good to see you. My OMAD is doing good. How long have I been doing OMAD? I've been doing OMAD for almost 2 years. I'll look over at that in a second, but it's not a meta-analysis. And a meta-analysis is the most powerful type of scientific study because it's taking just tons of things into consideration. But this one took a lot, and it took human trials and animal trials, which I'm not sure if they've done before, and they kind of weaved them together to talk about what it is. And like I said, when I get done with this live, I'm going to load it. Normally it takes like 30 to 40 minutes to load a long live like this on YouTube. But once it is completely loaded, I will have this entire article links down below, which is exciting. You don't have to sign up for anything or do anything to read it yourself. And I suggest everybody read this article because it's really, 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 really interesting stuff that they talk about. So they took all these different articles and they put it together and discussed the name of the article being reviewed. The way they wrote it is the effects of intermittent fasting on health, aging, and disease. And so it talks about all three things, but I found a lot of things interesting. One, they said that most of the benefits come from 18 hours to 20 hours of fasting or more. And a lot of people are in that 16 and 8 realm. So that's something for you guys to consider, is that a lot of these things that what they're going to call a metabolic switch, which I want to do a video on in the future anyways. And this is what I've been preaching on this channel since day one. I only know the scientific study of me, right? I can only tell you guys that I can only tell you from my experience what's happened to me and how my life goes. But I hear all the time, like, you want to be able to run your body on ketones, but running your body on glucose isn't a bad thing either. And there's a balance there that you want to be able to run it on both things, right? So we all kind of want to be able to do that. So, but there's a switch and there's a period of time in which you're able to move back and forth between these two. And then according to the different studies and looking at them, is if you're doing about an 18-hour fast every day, you're being able to switch back and forth much easier than most people. And so when you're able to do that, that means part of your day you're spending burning your body fat. And if you're not overeating during your eating window, that obviously means that you're going to be losing weight, which is huge. This article doesn't even really address weight loss. As I told you in the top of it, it's health, aging, and disease. It does talk about weight loss, but it also talks about in a lot of studies that they've looked at, there wasn't a big change. There's an example of a study they did with women. There was 100 overweight women, and they gave them on the 5-2 diet with no calories on their 2 days. And then the other group, to combat the 5-2, they put them on a 25% calorie reduction. So you have one group that's not eating for 2 days and can do whatever on the other 5. And then you have another group that is intentionally taking 25% less calories than they started. All of the women are overweight going into this study. Well, at the end of the study, both groups lost the same amount of weight. So right there, you would say that proves the 5-2 diet isn't the answer, that it's reduction in calories. And people would jump to that conclusion all the time. That's what you would get out of this study. But if you really look at a lot of the other things in the study, it showed that the insulin sensitivity in the 5-2 group was better. They had less mTOR. They were able to use they were able to switch back and forth easier between burning ketones and burning glucose. And their waistlines ended up being smaller. They also retained all of their muscle mass, and the other group did not. These are huge things that we just sweep under the carpet to prove that calorie reduction is just as effective. When this clearly shows that in weight loss, calorie reduction may be as effective as intermittent fasting, but in all the other categories, intermittent fasting is running away with it. And what's beautiful about this study, and again, it will be linked, so please check it out at the end of it. And all of you that do have a channel and do YouTube, cover this, man. This is good stuff, because this study shows that over the course of many different ways, intermittent fasting is something big. And not only is it big, this article is catching more and more news media. It's made the news recently. I've had 2 or 3 people talk about it. It's hitting the headlines of health things, and it may even trickle even more into the mainstream. And I really think it's showing that intermittent fasting is turning the corner in our culture. And of course, we're being able to do that through, these channels, through everything we're doing is trying to grow the intermittent fasting word, and it is definitely growing. And this article, it is just pages of goodness, guys. I can't even tell you. It shows you different graphs. It shows you the things that intermittent fasting does that you don't get during sleep and recovery. Increased ketones. You get less stress resistance. You're going to increase your autophagy, repair DNA, decrease your insulin, decrease your mTOR, decrease your photosynthesis. You're going to do all these things, but keep in mind, you're either growing or you're shrinking. And when you're sleeping and after you've eaten, in those periods of time, you tend to grow. So you're doing some of that too, which you need as well. You can't just go without either one. But when we're talking about the two of them, this goes into how it helps with obesity, how it helps with cardiovascular disease. Your helps in cancer, your helps in Alzheimer's and brain issues. The article talks about surgery and surgical repair and how intermittent fasting can help. It really goes into just so much detail. And what's beautiful is it's the first time that they took some studies, because a lot of people will admit that a lot of positive things happen during intermittent fasting when we're talking about animals. People will be quick to say, yeah, sure, rats live longer. Yeah, sure, all these other things happen in animals, but they won't push that over to the human side. But this study links, now we haven't done long-term studies on humans, so we don't really know, but it links other things that we found in animals that we have proven happen in humans too during intermittent fasting. And he shows you the comparisons between the animals and the humans and how that kind of works together. And so it's not a far stretch to think that it's going to expand our life, that it's going to do a lot of positive things. So I wanted to start with that. I'm going to hit the chat over in a second, but this study again was released online on the 25th on Christmas Day, and it was released in the I'll tell you the medical journal one more time. It is in I got to scroll to the top. Sorry about that, but it is in the New England Journal of Medicine. So it's reviewed by 2 doctors, and then this summary is written by a 3rd doctor. So it's really a good thing. And like I said, both of the doctors work in an aging clinic. So these guys on top of it, they're intermittent doing amazing things. But it is also interesting to think that that 18 to 20 hours is where things start to really shift. So all right, let me catch back up to the people. Zeb, man, I'm hearing you, dude. I'm still only seeing 8 likes, Zeb. So get on these guys, man. They got to hit that like button. Hey, Spivey, it's good to see you from Wales. I appreciate you. I'm wishing everybody a good new year too, guys. Hopefully, some of you guys like the new year 12-week program if you haven't gotten started yet. And I know a lot of people that watch this channel are already in their journey. So to say, start on a 16/8, they're like, I've already been doing that. But you can pick up at whatever week you're at. If you haven't got the walking in, start there, and build from there. Hey, Norma, it's good to see you all the way from California. And you're doing a 48-hour fast right at the moment. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. My carnivore theory, man. I want to know how it's going. How's the carnivore going for you, man? Are you feeling good still? I know you've been doing it a while now. Now the likes are going up. Thank you guys for the love. That's going to help me get out there more to the peoples. So I got a let's see here. So healthy high CW. Good to see you. Good to see you too, my friend. You're too low carb mindset, I think, and you can't eat carbs, which is scary. You're going to gain your weight back that you've lost. Look, Melissa, I think it's a tough situation, because if you have been doing low carb for a long time and tomorrow you stop doing low carb, you are going to have an immediate weight gain. Hey, Thomas, thanks for watching me all the way from Jamaica, man. That is awesome. My Uncle Tom goes out to Jamaica a lot, and my Uncle George goes to Jamaica a lot, and they have some people down there we're pretty much family with. And so it's good to know he's out there with those guys having a good time in Jamaica. But back to what I was going to say, Melissa. So here's the problem. If you're going low carb really flushes water out of your system, and glucose holds water really, really, really well. And so the second you refeed, your weight is going to go up. And when I say refeed, I mean putting carbs back into your diet. So when you add carbs back in, you would have an immediate weight gain. So I'm just going to make up numbers. Let's say you were 150 pounds and then you reintroduce carbs and you haven't been doing carbs for a year. You're going to go to 155, 158, maybe even 160, but you did not gain 10 pounds of fat. That is just false. You're just holding 10 pounds of water and you're storing glucose in your muscles, which you haven't done in a long time. Each one of your muscles can hold glucose, and you can hold a few pounds of glucose in your body throughout your muscle so that your muscles can explode when they need to and get energy when they need to. So when you're on a low carb diet, you deplete all of those storages. So you don't have that kind of explosive storage muscle there. So it will put that back on you, but your pants aren't going to get bigger. And then you can rework your weight with the reintroduction of carbs, and it will balance itself back out over time. Carbs are not the enemy. The enemy is overeating. And that's where you kind of gotta, get your mind going into, is that as long as you're eating a decent amount, you're going to be okay. And if you're overdoing it, it doesn't matter if it's carbs or fat, you're going to gain weight. It's just the way it is. You've been doing IF for 3 days. You're loving how you feel. Listen, Angelo, I think it's going to do better for you. You're doing my 12-week plan. That is the most exciting thing I've read all night. Let me know how it goes, man. Knowing the new year, 3 days into it, that's good stuff, man. I'm excited for you. I'd like to hear your results. How much do you weigh, Angelo? What's your height, and how much do you want to lose? Those are some questions I got for you. You ate a plate of potatoes and salad for dinner. Carbs are fine. Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't think it's something you have to worry about. Just keep in mind that if you do reintroduce them, you are going to have a small weight gain. It will go away. You will be just fine. And, Tattooed Woman, by the way, I just talked about it. I don't know if you were in when I talked about it, but that new study, I know you get a chance to read it later on tonight when I post it. It's amazing. You're going to love to read all the different stuff that they're discovering in intermittent fasting. And listen, as a community, we've known this. The problem is, well, there's a two-part problem. One, we obviously are all having success, and weight loss success is not something that happens very often. But two, not only are we all having success with intermittent fasting, but we feel better. So I'm not even talking about the numbers, the 125 I lost, or the however much you lost, or the however much he, she, or it lost. What I'm talking about is the fact that we feel better. And so if we're feeling better, we know it's working. We know we are gaining health from that. And that's at the end of the day, what's going to get us through to the next level is gaining health. So, I think all the studies in the world can't stop me from telling me that I'm feeling good, and that's a big deal. And that makes a big, important part of it. What's happening, John? It's good to see you, my friend. Fasting your way with 145. What is going on? So you're 5'5" and 215. You want to get to 170. Okay. Yeah. I think by the end of the 12 weeks, I think I could see you probably, let's guess 195 at 12 weeks from now. You might be able to be even better than that, but let's shoot 195 as a goal. I think that's reasonable. And then if you do better than that, then fantastic, but 195, and then you've only got another 25 pounds to go, and we can really get that off you. But you'll be feeling so good. After that 12 weeks, you're just carrying on with what you're doing. You're going to lose the rest. No problem at all. So what is happening, Felicia? It's good to see you from Cali. Way out other side of the country, man. I'm over here in Virginia. It is, by the way, crazy weather here. We're sitting in the 50s, 60s, and even been in the 70s in the last few weeks. It was like 65 degrees on Christmas Day. Like, that's just weird. But such a good point about feeling better. No, it's what it is all about. I think that is the part that gets lost in intermittent fasting, because the first thing everybody wants to ask me is, how much weight am I going to lose? And it's like, well, each of us are different. And they're like, but I want to lose weight. It's like, I get it. But I want you to feel better and to get healthier. And then that's going to result in weight loss. You know what I mean? See, if we make weight loss the goal, then we're going to get to a point in which the numbers aren't there, and we're getting sad and we're getting depressed, and we slip back off of it. If we make health the goal, and we make a better lifestyle the goal, and that's the key. You see, if we take weight loss out of it and we say, I want to be healthier and I want to live a better lifestyle than I'm currently on right now, right? When you do that and you go all in and commit to that, I think your end result from that is going to be massive weight loss. So, but, the weight loss will come over the course of time, no doubt about it. So, on October 9th, you were 278. January 3rd, you're 248, 18 and 6. Hey, that's great. And Warhammer, I hope you heard just a minute ago that the 18 hours is a really good place to start, and a lot of good things are showing up about that. You're no longer eating any carbs or vegetables again. Plus, you're doing powerlifting workouts, gaining a ton of muscle in the last 2 months. That's good. Are you breaking out though? I don't know if you guys know, but my carnivore theory, he's had a channel in the past. I'm not sure if he's making videos. I haven't seen him pop up in a while, but he'll have bad breakouts and bad allergic reactions to things. So have you had any bad reactions lately? Or is the carnivore taking care of your, autoimmune stuff? That'd be nice to know. Yeah, Angela, no problem, man. I'm here to help motivate you. And what's going on, Olympia? Good stuff, man. Adventures of My Life in Keto. Hey, what's happening? Good to see you. So, Melissa, let's see. Angelo, 215. Then you started working out. Now you're 170. You're doing great. There's nothing wrong with putting on some muscle there too. Working out is definitely a good stuff. All right. So yes, weight loss. So it's feeling healthy, improving your lifestyle is the ultimate goal. And that's what it should be. Fasting to 145, that's what it should be. If you're taking care of your health, you're going to take care of your weight loss. It's going to go back and forth. I think we definitely get lost. We definitely get lost in that. It goes back to, look, in the next 2 days, I got 2 videos done today, and one of which is going to talk about my fast coming up here on the 6th. You guys know I already told you I was going to start fasting on the 6th. So I go into a little bit of details on that. If you want to join me on that, you can comment on this one or the next video. Let me know you're joining me. But I'm going to fast till I feel like not fasting anymore. 2020 fast fest, if you will. I don't know what I'm calling it, but whatever. I'm just going to start fasting on the 6th, and we'll see how long I go. But with that said, so I have that video coming out. That video comes out tomorrow, so you'll get all the details on that. And then on Saturday's video, I have a video on loose skin. And the video on loose skin, of course, you guys have known in the past, I go into great details about autophagy and loose skin and whether or not it really is something that can help you or whether or not it's fake science and just on and on and on. But the thing that irks me about it is so many morbidly obese people are worried about their appearance after they lose weight and not worrying about what they're doing to their body in the today. So it's okay to go through dementia and heart disease and diabetes and all the stuff that's coming down the pathway for you, so that you don't have skin that sags for what? The appearances, like it's the Instagram era. I mean, more so than ever. I know the way our appearance has been important forever, but the Instagram era makes it even worse. And we have to feel like, oh, well, if I don't look good, in a bikini, like, well, are you going to live a long time? Are you healthy? And worry about that stuff first, Anyway, so absolutely, you thought unhealthy because you were fat. I am healthy because an unhealthy lifestyle. No, that Sandra, that's it. And listen, there's a balance here. I want to talk about this for half a second because we hear this all the time in the health at every size movement, right? So you have people that are in the health and every size movement. If you don't know what that is, it's people basically saying no matter if they're big or not, doesn't affect their health and that they can be healthy and still large. And there's some truth to that and there's some lies to that. So I want you to understand that you can be a certain amount overweight and still have all of your mile markers in the good way, everything working really well inside your body, and you can be moving in the right direction health-wise. You can be running and working out and having everything going good and be fine, perfectly fine. But when you start getting so large that you're getting into the morbid obesity range, now the problem is you've stored so much fat that parts of your body are not going to function as well, like your knees, like your back, like your neck, like your joints. No matter what you want to say and no matter how you feel, you might be young and working out every day, and so you feel okay. But the course of many years, that's not a healthy way to live. And you're going to break down your body, but not just stuff I mentioned. You have fat that's going to be stored in your liver, and you're going to have fat that's going to be stored in your heart, and you have fat that's going to be stored on all of your vital organs and pushing against your vital organs and making everything inside not comfortable. And that's never healthy. So you can't truly be healthy at any size, but at the same time, you can be overweight and be very healthy. So there's a balance there that, that does exist. But the bottom line is if our goal is to be healthier and our goal is to start to move more and start to eat right and start to think about it and get some fasting in every day, the weight will come off because your body doesn't want to carry around, on one side, your body wants to store fat for a rainy day. On the other side, your body doesn't want to carry around weight and get injured. It knows that it needs to use it for at some point. And if you're triggering it to use it now, your body's going to use the weight. So you're going to balance that out. And if your BMI, a lot of people will buy into whatever their BMI says and say, well, your BMI says you should be 145, so you should weigh 145, and that's the way it should be. And you're weighing 151 and you're feeling like you've lost control. No, you're probably super healthy, especially if you're fasting and exercising. You're probably super healthy, even though you're 7 pounds over what your BMI says. So hopefully that makes sense. You guys can let me know if it did over on the side. I appreciate you guys. Let me catch back up. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to be listening in the car. Oh, I appreciate you listening in the car. Thank you so much. Are you taking off to fast? No, tattooed woman, I am not going to take off work. I'm going to fast, which could factor in on this fast. I know a lot of people, just so everybody understands too, it's a very smart thing to do is to not do something too strenuous during your fasting window. And I'm double dipping that with the fact that I do have to go to work and I have to coach during this period of time. So I may not last. We'll see. I mean, my goal is my last meal is at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So 2 days from now, 6 o'clock, one more meal then, or I'll be finishing at 6. And I'm not going to eat again until minimum Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So that would be a full, 72-hour fast. I've done that before and worked and done all of that and been fine. So that's the goal, but I might push it past then, depending on how I'm feeling. And if I can go over to Thursday and Friday and beyond, I'm just going to keep going. And then one day when I'm like, okay, you've had enough, get some food in you, I'm going to go. It's not, I'll talk about it more tomorrow, but it's not a weight loss thing. It's more of a testing myself thing and an autophagy thing. So you'll get all the details of that. But yeah, so I do think that if I was going on a 30-day one and taking off work is always a good idea. But you never know. I think it'll develop into this 30-day fast. I doubt it. It's probably going to develop into a 4 or 5-day fast. Maybe I make it 7. That would be amazing. But I just don't. I'm not going to put a label on when I should stop, if that makes sense. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. You're doing allergy testing now. You're going to make a video soon. Okay, I definitely want to know and make sure you comment on one of my videos the day you post that, so I can go check it out. I want to make sure I watch that video to know about your allergies, because man, his face just blows up. It's crazy what food can do to you, but food can do it. There's no doubt about it. It'd be interesting to see what he's allergic to. Okay, appearance should be solo and priority scale of life. Yep. And then let's see here. High of interest to keto. And then you're at 160 and you have muscle tone, especially in your back. Yeah. What did you start at? You were in the 300s though, weren't you? When you first started the journey. So I got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to work on, guys. I really am. I'll take a minute to talk about some of that stuff. I would like for 2020 to be able to bring some new stuff to the channel. I would love to be able to get an ebook done in 2020. I would love to be able to maybe do some recipes and different things. So I'm trying to work on a lot of that stuff. Of course, the next January through the end of February, super busy for me, being that I coach wrestling. With that said, I do think I'm going to be trying to get a video up daily for the month of January. I'm not committing past that, but I'm trying to get that done because, I wanted to start the new year out with some momentum and really get you guys back in the swing of things. I know it was a little rough over the holidays. I tried to get as many videos as I could. Probably didn't get as many as I should have, but I'm back on track now. So, I appreciate that. And, I have a lot of fun, good stuff planned for the channel this year, and a lot of good interviews. And this summer, taking that trip to Vegas, and I'm going to be hanging out with Reg. So I don't know if you guys know Reg, but Reg edited, amazing YouTuber. Her channel's blowing up right now. And I'm going to be hanging out with her a little bit and doing some collaborations there. And I think we're going to do a collaboration soon. We talked about a week and a half ago. We're both kind of busy about linking up and doing a collaboration on, we're actually going to do a collab on tips for men fasting and tips for women fasting. And I think we're going to flip flop it. Like, she's going to give some tips for the women and I'm going to give some tips for the men. And we're going to switch and post on her channel. She'll post on my channel, or maybe we'll do a joint that we post on both channels. But we're working out the details there. So that'd be really cool. Hopefully I can get some success stories. If you guys know any success stories, or you're a success story and you want to be featured on this channel too, I would love to have you. I want to be able, my audience, I know, is always connected when I bring on somebody else with their story. So I would like to bring on other people's stories if you know somebody you want to get back to. Down 65 pounds, Zeb, man, that is awesome. Down to 368. You're doing good, man. You're rolling 48s in training. So let me ask you, Zeb, are you doing 48 eating one meal and then 48? Or are you doing 48 doing a day of eating and then 48? How are you working the 48s out? I'd like to know. Is it okay to drink coffee with sugar-free syrup during your fasting window? Okay. So, Angela, when you say during your fasting window, so you're saying in your fasted state, is it okay to drink sugar-free syrup? See, it's a tricky question because obviously that's sweetened somehow. So there's a chance that it's going to break your fast. But is it going to break your fast? I'm not sure. So I would say that if you do it and you're not having results, then you shouldn't, for sure. But you got to look at the labels and be really careful on them. Some artificial sweeteners are easier for your body to have an insulin reaction to than others. So, and some people can drink a diet soda and spike their insulin, and other people don't. So, yes, technically, it probably is not the best idea. But again, if you're losing weight and it's working for you, keep doing it. Yeah, Zeb's killing it, man. Um, so you do 48, then 48. So 48, eat 48 is what I assume you mean for one. I just wanted to know, are you eating one meal or are you eating a whole day? So, because it's like you're kind of doing, I guess, every other day OMAD. If you're doing 48 with OMAD, then it's really every other day OMAD. It's alternate day OMAD, which is pretty cool. Alternate day OMAD is very powerful. No doubt about it. But okay, you said you were up to 320 and you dropped to a solid 240, and you started the strength training program and gained 20 plus a ton of strength. That's good. That's good stuff. I've been lifting, and here's the controversial thing I'll tell you guys too. I start fasting the 6th, and I'm going to go, like I said, who knows, 72 plus 72 and on hours on that fast. I am going to lift weights during that fast, which is another controversial thing. A lot of people think you should never, ever do that if you're going on a long-term fast. So we're going to see. The beautiful thing is I'm going to document the stuff too. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about how the fast went, how the weightlifting went in the fast, how my energy levels went throughout the different days. I'm going to be, I'm going to document it all. I'm going to have a nice video for you guys so you kind of get an idea of where I am and where I feel in my journey. And it'll be interesting to see, exactly what happens for sure. So you said you'll break your fast, break my fast with it to be safe. Yeah, I mean, it's best to just be safe with it. I would imagine, and just try to just drink it inside your window. Get used to black coffee, man. That's the way to really get it going. But another thing you could possibly do, Angelo, is you could go out and buy a ketone reading machine, and then make sure you do a long-term fast until you're definitely in ketosis. Test your blood and make sure you're in ketosis, and then drink it and see if it moves you out. And if it moves you out, you instantly know this isn't something. You could also get a blood sugar reading, I guess, if you don't want to go all the way to ketosis. But either way, just to get tested. Matter of fact, my carnivore theory did it with Diet Coke one time, where he tested Diet Coke against his ketosis to see what happened, and he drank the Diet Coke and didn't go out of ketosis, which a lot of people have done. But there have been some studies on sweeteners and knocking people out of ketosis, and out of 100 people, one person in every one of those studies does knock themselves out by eating artificial sweeteners. So, which is really weird on two levels, because artificial sweeteners are very new to the world. And so our bodies aren't quite used to them, but you can see that in some people, they're already starting to pick it up. And over the course of time, that may be something that our bodies react to totally differently. We have no idea. And that's what's crazy about, let me go off on a tangent real quick, but that's what's crazy about the world and the way that we are. We don't know long term what anything's going to do to us. And when fructose corn syrup got introduced, it got introduced because it was a cheap way to make things taste better and to get people, to be honest with you, more addicted to the food. But in the long term, I don't think anyone that was giving fructose corn syrup out or making it or selling it when it first got started were thinking that this was going to make a diabetes epidemic that it has, because I think it's the number one reason why our world is becoming more and more and more diabetic, and we're struggling with weight, comes from all the products we have with fructose corn syrup in it. And so fructose corn syrup is literally destroying us. But we didn't know that when we produced it. Now it's profiting so much money in so many different ways. You see, when we think about a fructose corn syrup, we're like, it's making a few people richer. But then those people are donating to this organization, and those people are donating to that organization, and they're getting this taken care of, and that school system paid for, and this and that. And so there's all of this revenue that's being turned over due to something that's literally killing us. So when you bring that even in front of like the government, and you say, okay, here's evidence that fructose corn syrup is destroying us, the government is thinking, well, how are we going to replace this revenue? How are we, if we drop this all out and we make this illegal or we ban this substance, then we're going to cripple the economy because all of this money that's flowing in all of a sudden doesn't flow in, and that cuts off all these other branches out there of people that are making money off the side off of something that started with this one product. And so it's a complicated situation where so much goes on behind the scenes that then it ends up really pushing back things that make common sense. I think anyone with a brain this day and age, 2020, can see that drinking fructose corn syrup or eating it is not good. But there's two elements to there. One, that the harping on the laziness of us all, or harping on the convenience. That's a better word to put it. Being easy, being fast, being convenient. And then on the other side of that, the profitability, the ability to make money. I can't even speak tonight. Also hit you. So you end up in this dueling situation. But fructose corn syrup is not good. And that's basically it. But the artificial sweeteners, their way of getting around fructose corn syrup, we really don't have a long-term enough answer to whether or not it truly is affecting us. And, that's just a bit of an easy. Okay, you said you're just lazy. The goal for 2020 is to cure laziness. That's a difficult thing. And I don't know where you're at right now in your weight loss journey. I know you say fasting to 145, but what do you weigh today? What did you weigh when you started? Those are two questions that I have for you because, let me read the next thing you said. When you finish your long-term fast, you have no cravings, no Diet Coke, etc. You just want fish and vegetables. Yeah, I think that happens to a lot of people when they have a long-term fast. They come out and their body actually starts to crave things that actually it needs instead of the things that it generally just wanted before. So, I think long-term fast helps so much with food addiction for sure. But here's the thing, fasting my way to 145, laziness, you see, I'm going to tell you, all right, I'm going to use me for an example. I started coaching wrestling in the year 2000. That was my first year. So, I was the head coach of a high school called Minchville High School in Newport News, Virginia. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was 21 years old. I'm walking in the room and I'm now coaching 18-year-olds. I'm 21. And I'm telling these kids what I think they need to do to succeed. And I'm learning along the way. And okay, well that's good to know about your weight. And we'll get a little more into some stuff in a second. But I wanted everybody to understand this. So in the process of me starting to coach, I had energy coming out of my ears. I had passion in everything I was doing, and I was running, constantly moving, constantly going, constantly just not just in wrestling, but in everything. Life was just boom, 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 boom. And I was in pretty good shape. I'd hurt my knee, but I just started my trail to obesity. And so fast forward to 5 or 6 years ago, I was beat up. I was wore out. I was tired. I didn't have a passion for wrestling. I didn't have a passion for any of the things I used to have a passion for. I felt lazy. I felt like I didn't want to do anything. And I felt like broken, I guess, in a lot of ways. So we go a little bit forward into the last 2 years. So I started the weight loss journey. When I started the journey, and this is, God, what I wish you guys could understand, is I started this journey with no mindset that I was going to feel better, with nothing thinking about I was going to move better or exercise or anything. I started because I knew I was overweight and I thought I probably should try to do something about it to get myself a little less overweight. And I stumbled upon this and it trickled into something amazing. And now my energy levels went from 0 to 100 and I'm bouncing off the walls. Even my assistant coach, just so you guys understand, I've had a couple of assistant coaches. Well, one of them took off last year. He's about 65 or 6, and he had some issues at his house, and he'd been coaching with me for the previous 5 seasons. And last year he called me up on the phone. He didn't even get to see him but once the whole season, and he said, "I can't coach it this year. I've got a lot going on." So then fast forward to this year, he showed back up and said, "Hey, I want to get back into it. Can I help?" So I said, "Yeah." And he said to me the other day, "Your intensity and your energy is at a whole new level. What happened? I know you lost weight, but you are getting after it." And he said, "You're just a different dude than you were 2 years ago." And I'm telling you guys now that that is because of intermittent fasting. That is because of the change in my lifestyle gave me this thing. So if you're feeling lazy, and I see you've already lost 34ish pounds. So, I'm not sure if you're feeling better than you did before. But I think that the longer you stick to getting this done and staying active, and if you haven't done it yet and you've just done the weight loss part of it, if you start moving more, I think what you're going to find is your energy level will increase. And another thing too is I think even the weightlifting is helping my energy level. The weightlifting immediately following weightlifting, and I fast. I weightlift fasted every day. So I lift weights at 6:30 in the morning and I'm fasted. And then at 7:20, I don't feel good. I'm being honest with you. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like I just want to eat, right? And then about 8 o'clock, I turn the corner and the rest of my day's fine. And then I'm golden throughout the rest. But I feel like I go down in energy. And then at 8 o'clock, it starts picking its way back up. By 10 o'clock, I've got all the energy in the world. And so I think that you will overcome the feeling of not wanting to do things the closer you are to your goal, and the more you work at it. I think it'll help out a lot for sure. So you're down to 53, but you're yo-yoing a lot. Okay, I mean, hey, we're all going to fluctuate some, and especially females are going to fluctuate more than others. Christopher, what's happening, man? Hey, I'm glad you appreciate me. I appreciate you. Thank you too, man, for being a weight loss warrior and being a part of this channel. I'm telling all you guys right now, if it wasn't for you guys tuning in each and every week, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know. I just appreciate you guys so much. Having a second family is amazing. Um, you know, um, yeah. So asking how tall she is a good question there, Melissa. Fasting your way back, you agree. You're feeling lazy because you haven't been fasting for 3 weeks. So you've gained 5 pounds. Yeah. Now, listen, that's another thing I want you to understand too, real quick. So if you've been doing intermittent fasting, what ends up happening is your body makes this adjustment and you're feeling better. And if you go away from intermittent fasting, now your body is having to break all food down all the time and digest and do all of the stuff that it was not doing a few weeks prior. And that is going to make you feel tired. That is going to make you feel lazy. So coming off of intermittent fasting was probably a big mistake. I think you should get back on a fasting protocol and just stick with it for the rest of the time. I really do. I think that people don't understand your body works harder digesting food than it does anything else. And so if you're digesting food all the time, you can't have the energy to do other things. It just doesn't happen. And keep in mind that your body feels better running ketones. And if you are fasting for, over 16 hours, a large portion of that, you're going to be running on ketones. So you're going to be feeling better. So that's just something for you to think about. You feel so much better fasted. Absolutely. I think everybody does. I mean, I think that's true. 5'5.5", and that half counts. Hey, listen, I'm 5'9.5", and that half does count. Let me tell you what, that half counts a whole lot. He said, sorry if it's been asked, but you're struggling with binge eating and need some help for some tips. Not grazing and snacking all day is terrible. Okay, JJ, I got you right here. Let's see. Number one. So I'm assuming from the way that question was asked that you're holding and you're refraining from it all day. You get to your one meal and it's like you just can't stop. Or if you're doing like a warrior, your 2 meals, you start eating and 4 hours later you're still eating and you can't gain control of it. So here's some things that I think that you can do to help you. I think the snacking part of it all day long, making you miserable, is mental and you'll get over it. But the first thing you should do is I want you to pre-plan your meals. I want you to sit down for tomorrow, tonight, and write down everything you're going to have with your meal. Get it, and then take that all out before you eat a single thing. Don't eat while you're cooking. Don't do any of that. Put it all on the table at one time. Sit down knowing this is what I'm going to eat, and that's it. Then before you eat it, I want you to drink 2 full glasses of water. Then I want you to eat it. Then immediately after eating that food, I want you to leave the kitchen. I want you to leave the area of eating. I don't want you to go back to the area of eating. I want you to go on a walk. I want you to go upstairs. I want you to work on a project you got to work on. I want you to do anything in the world to get out of that room and get away from thinking about food. And I think if you do that for a few days in a row, you'll break that binge eating. You'll break that mentality where, you know, you feel like you have to eat. Now, listen, I've been doing OMAD for almost 2 years, and I'm going to tell you that sometimes I'll eat dinner, I'll sit down and I'll eat. And I will catch myself standing up and cleaning up plates and doing things and putting them in the kitchen. And I'll catch myself walk over to the cupboard and grab something to eat and then eat it. And then sometimes I'll clean up a little bit more, helping my wife, and I'll go back over to the cupboard. And I'll be going to get more food because I'm thinking, well, hey, listen, you know, it ain't quite been an hour and you've got 23 hours before you can eat again. You better do it now, son. And I'll start heading that way. Now, I do have a wife that sometimes will nicely say, hey, don't you think you had enough yet? No, okay, you know, and I'll head back. But I often have to catch myself too and just say, hey, whoa, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you ate for 34 minutes and not an hour does not mean you need an excuse to eat another 26 minutes. And I think that that's something that everybody's going to struggle with. The good news is if you're eating one meal a day, it's very hard to overdo one meal. You're generally going to be eating, you know, the minimum of your daily requirements. So, you know, I don't sweat it too much, but hopefully, JJ, let me know if that advice sounds good to you. Pre-plan what you're going to eat, 2 glasses of water, eat it, get up and leave. And then let me know in the comments of my future videos and everything. If that's working for you, you can shoot me an email too. Hit me up on Instagram. Any of those and let me know how it's going. And we'll see what works from there. All right, appreciate it, man. Anybody got any more questions? Leave them now. I'm going to be on for about another 10. So if you do got a question, drop it. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. I appreciate you guys. You love the water trick. Hey, listen, tattooed vegan. I think everybody needs to learn how to do that, man. I think so many people sit down on an empty stomach after they've been not eating for 20 something hours. And then they're ready to eat and they overdo it. And they end up sometimes even being dehydrated, and 2 glasses of water certainly will take up the trick. You know, it's real funny. One of my very close friends will eat his dinner and he gets whatever drink he orders. Whenever I've been at a restaurant with him over the last 20 years, whatever, the drink sits there. And he eats all of his food before he touches his drink. And he said that when he was growing up, that if he touched his drink before he ate his food, his mom would accuse him of trying to fill up on the drink and he would get in trouble. And so it's been a habit of his to always eat before he drinks. And the exact opposite of that is what we should be doing. We should always drink before we eat, you know, so that we can mistake. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 times we're not even hungry. We're thirsty. We just don't know it. So every time you're hungry, drink water. All right. You said when you want to lose weight, you don't look at the diet, research, science, weight gain that you used to lose the 80 pounds. Yeah, no doubt. Diet is just the wrong thing to do, man. You got to be able to keep it in a lifestyle, or it's not going to work for sure. Thank you very much, Drew. You'll let me know how. Hey, man, I hope it works out well for you. I appreciate you. You can't seem to find the like button. No. Oh, no. Actually, I know what to do. This happened to me the other day. I was watching another YouTuber do a live. So this is what you got to do on your phone. You got to close the chat. Hit X on the chat, and then the description and stuff will pop up, and then you can hit then you hit like, and then if you want to get back to the chat, you have to literally close the live and go back into it, and then the chat will be back. That's the only way you can like it on mobile. It happened to me the other day. I'm like, I'm trying to like this dude's video, and I can't. And it was pretty uncool, but I appreciate you trying to figure it out. You just close out the chat for a second. Also, when hunger waves come, it's not consistent. Yeah, the water trick works, man. It really does. OMAD is what did it during the holidays. No weight gain. Melissa, that's what I'm talking about. I haven't been on the scale to be 100% honest with you, but I am stepping on Monday because it's the beginning of my fast to see where I'm at. So it'll be interesting, but I'm pretty sure I didn't gain any weight either. But OMAD is the ticket, no doubt about it. And I made it the entire holiday not eating more than once, just for the record. Second holiday in a row, I was able to do that. If you choose to live chat, you should be able to, and then share the chat again. Yeah. Thanks for the advice, Dub. My beautiful wife making a comment over there. My son Lex said he was going to watch and comment, but I haven't seen him. So Lex, if you're watching, drop a comment, man. But if not, I'll forgive you this time. Next time, though, you better be watching my live, son. Just joking. Anyways, let's see. Thanks. It worked. Yeah, you got the and anything to get extra like, right? No, I'm just playing with you guys. So, let me know if you guys got anything going on in your intermittent fasting right now over here in the comments too. Are any of you in the middle of a long-term fast? You got one planning to come up? Are you hitting that 12-week program? I really liked it. I would like to be able to do a write-up of the 12-week program for people to follow eventually too. Because really I think, and I'll really talk about a second too, because it is 2020. We can kind of address this for a half a second. And so anytime January 1st hits, everybody wants to throw out a million things they're going to do better. And by January 5th, everybody's quit. They're off the train. And that's a common, occurrence in the world. We all know it. But if you want things to stick, and if you want sticking power when it comes to, change, it's not major, it's minor. I one time heard, I want to say Montel Williams one time wrote a book. Maybe I might be wrong on that. And he said it takes 21 days to create a habit. And so if you're not doing something for 21 days straight, then it's never going to become a part of who you are. And so in the process of thinking about that and that kind of concept, if you wake up January 1st and you want to do 10 things to better yourself, you're going to fail. But if you can pick one thing to do to better yourself, then you are going to have a much higher chance of success. And I've used this example before, but I want to drive it home to you guys here on the live too. If we're walking together like this and we're going in a straight line, we're going to go to the same place, right? But if we make a slight change in our life, we are dramatically going to be in a different place. Just one small change. Saying that I'm not going to eat after dinner. If everyone in America did that, not only would we save millions and billions of dollars in healthcare, but everyone would lose weight. Everyone would feel better just by, if we said no one's allowed to eat after 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., the whole world would improve, by one small, minor, itsy bitsy change. Then you add on top of that in the morning after you've got that done, well, we're not going to eat until this time, And now you're cooking. Now you've made two huge changes that are going to add years to your life. Then you go in and you worry about cutting sodas out in your window, and you worry about, doing the little things right, and you worry about cutting out, different elements that you don't want to do. And over the course of time, those little changes are going to make a dramatic difference. And so you could even do it all the way up to improve anything else in life too. You smoke and you want to quit smoking, make it your week 8 goal to quit smoking. So for 8 weeks it's coming. When that 8th week gets here, you're able to handle it. Small changes make a big difference over time. 100%. Remember it, people. Write it down. Zeb, sorry I didn't get you leaving, but I'll catch you on the next one, brother. Appreciate you. Man, I really do appreciate Zeb. He's got a channel too if you guys want to go check Zeb out. He's a good dude, man. He's killing it right now. You ate 2 pounds of meat, and well, 2 pounds of meat doesn't sound bad to me, man. Give me a steak any old day of the week. I definitely love some steak. So that is what I'm working on right now, is trying not to eat. Oh, thank you, Tattoo Woman. I appreciate the $2. You are the best. Thank you a bunch for that. You're working on trying not to eat anything after dinner. Yeah, that's the start right there, man. That's the start of intermittent fasting. That's the start of weight loss. That's the start of true change, is to just stop right after dinner. And if you can get that down, you'll be golden. It was one of the things when I lost weight the first time, And again, thank you for the $2. It means the world to me. You're just such a wonderful lady. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Um, when I started my weight loss journey the first time when I was in high school, I did the low fat thing. But when I did it, my dad's advice was to change slowly, and he was right. But I wrote down on a calendar every Sunday I made a change, and similar to the 12-week program that I've given you guys today or a couple of days ago. So I started with I was not going to drink any more soda on week 1. And then week 2, I cut my meals to I didn't eat after dinner. And week 3, I looked and I didn't eat anything that had over 3% fat in it. And then week 4, and I went down, and it was something like 10 weeks worth of changes that I was going to make. And I ended up losing 100 pounds over the course of the next year. So, but I did them one small thing at a time. And I think that that's the key is, you can set up your own 12-week plan or your own 15-week plan or whatever it is you want to do. But it's the little teeny things that are going to get you from point A to point B. And it's going to make a difference in what you're trying to do. And so, once again, guys, the earlier topic today, if you missed it, you can watch it in the replay. But it's an article in the New England Journal of Medicine. It's called The Effects of Intermittent Fasting on Health, Aging, and Disease. It had two different doctors did a study. You guys, the study is amazing. I'm telling you, it is a thing that I will leave you on this note that I've had 3 or 4 people in the last week come up to me and say, hey, I saw what you do on TV. Of course, they don't really understand there's a difference between OMAD and standard 16 and 8. But they're like, hey, I saw the intermittent fasting thing. Hey, I saw the intermittent fasting thing. And then I was watching a TV show last night, and 2 people were sitting in a coffee shop talking, and the one said, let me order you some food. And the other person said, oh, right now I'm in my fasting window. And I was like, look at that. This stuff that we are embarking on, that we are the pioneers of. And when I say we, I don't care if you have a YouTube channel, if you just watch my content, if you're just a intermittent faster, you're on the cutting edge of real change in the world. And I think that that is what we are going to be able to do over the course of the next decade. In 2030, I think intermittent fasting will be a common thing. And when I started this 2 years ago, I did not think it would ever catch on. I knew it worked for me, but I thought people would resist it till the end of time. But every single time I turn the corner, it's growing a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And unlike any other diet there's ever been, this one is a lifestyle. It's not something that you have to cut out of your food. And because of that, more and more people are going to be exposed to it. Now, at the end of this article that I talked to you guys about, when I was reading the conclusion, one of the things it said in the conclusion is the number one problem intermittent fasting faces is there's a numerous amount of people that can't or are unwilling to try. And that's what it said. And they are so right. When we still talk to the general public today in 2020, the response we're going to get is some people are going to be like, yeah, I heard of that. I do it. Or my friend does it. Or yeah, that's a good thing. I think you're doing good. And the very next person is going to say you're starving yourself and you're doing the wrong thing. And we're in a struggle. We're in a tug of war. But I am telling you right now on this channel, you're hearing it January 3rd, 2020, right here, that the power is starting to shift. And more people are getting on the intermittent fasting side and starting to pull. And that is going to force the other people that are not trying to understand this to start to look at it. It's going to take real channels, real companies out there, real people that are growing and that are huge fitness influencers that have denied intermittent fasting for years and years and years are now going to have to turn their tide and get over onto the other side. And the more of those that get pulled over, the farther we're going to be able to pull it. And this intermittent fasting thing by 2030 will be normal, and it will be something that is recommended by doctors to overweight people. It will be an entire movement towards it. And the beautiful thing is we are on the cutting edge of it. We are the ones that are growing this to a point in which other people in the world are going to be helped and other lives are going to be saved. I cannot wait to do a live right here on this channel in the next 10 years celebrating the fact that this channel has grown over 100,000 or 500,000, maybe even 1 million subscribers, because this thing is going to be undeniable. And I believe it now more than I ever have. I know that we have not only are we doing the right thing, but we are now being accepted. And once the mainstream accepts this, it is over with, because the people will follow and the people will start to do what's needed. Let me catch up on the chat before we end this thing. Okay, so you're doing the same thing on your account. Okay, she said, sounds silly, but I put a sticker on my planner every day that I'm doing OMAD. To see it on paper helps me. Hey, no, I don't think that's silly at all. I tell people all the time, write down your goals, write down your goals, write down your goals. When you see things written, it means more. I don't know why. But when you see it, it means more. I think, and Melissa, you hit the nail on the key. Consistency is the key. My man, the Outlaw popped in. Good to see you, brother. You said you're on your lunch break and black coffee and watching you with some people eating around you, man. Outlaw, that's what I'm talking about, man. Thank you for watching me, and thank you for just chilling out while you drink your coffee. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, Outlaw. I really do, man. Okay, you said in 2019 was a year of experimenting for you. Keto works great for your weight loss, but you hated the restriction with intermittent fasting. You do a better job on OMAD, man. Me too. OMAD Nation right here. Fasting takes off the food pressure for everybody. Yeah, no, once you get going, Nancy, I think you hit it. I think it's easy for everybody. And I think that the future is super bright in intermittent fasting. John, what is going on, man? It's good to see you. Appreciate you, man. Amazon is great for keeping you walking and out of the kitchen. Yeah, no, man, stay out of the kitchen, man. A lot of times, man, just even boredom. Look, at my house today, I was sitting around and it was like 2, and I'm not in school right now. And I was like, I got to get out of the house. And I went and actually did grocery shopping, ironically, but I had to leave the house because I felt like, the need to eat, and I didn't. So I just left. It is what it is. Let's see here. You got to do a video. We'll get on tomorrow. All right, John, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Hi, back to you. So everybody, I appreciate each one of you. I'm loading this thing up in a couple of minutes. So in about 30 to 45 minutes, it will load on my channel. When it loads on my channel, I will have the study I've been talking about all night linked in the description. Do not miss the chance to read this article. It is amazing. And I know that not only are each one of you going to crush your weight loss goals in 2020, but we are going to grow this thing this next decade to levels that we can't even imagine. The stuff that's going to happen with intermittent fasting, with this channel, and with our lives is going to be it's going to be an amazing time. So I appreciate you. You're walking on your treadmill, man. Thank you so much for watching me while you walk. I appreciate each one of you. I know on the replay you guys are seeing it right there. It's my face. If you click on that, you'll subscribe to this channel. It is free to do so, but the information I'm giving you is priceless, and I'm going to hook you up with a couple of videos I'd like for you to watch. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I love each one of you. Peace.